I want to establish your roles because you have so many.
So many.
So there are several, at least. You are an educator, a researcher, theoretician, practitioner, a writer. Could you talk about these directions and interests and how do they intersect?
What architect to me is not only a professional designer. I think architecture to me is like a kind of a living style, and how to set up a kind of relationship between my roles and to the architecture. So as an architect, I think not only just design things and build things, but most importantly, I think the architects need to thinking what's the future should be, and why we build the buildings, and how we build the building, especially how we produce something better to the world, and how can influence more people, make buildings good. So that is the orientation for my roles. That's why I'm not making myself to be a professional designer, but more than that, I'm making a lot of writings, research, and also teaching. So that is situation. So the ways how I set up my work is, at the very beginning I changed to be a professor, which is like 20 years ago. So I think teaching is important because in the studio and also in the seminar, it's very good for me to critically thinking what's the future architecture should be. So I think the teaching process to me is help me to make the thinking more clearly, and also in the teaching process I can testing new things. Maybe in the real practice is more practice orientation and more based on the budget, more based on the communication with the client. But in the university, architecture will be more ontologically just based on what it should be and what it could be. I think it's kind of testing process in the teaching. At the same time, writing is important because writing can help you to organize your thinking, and also from the writing is good to not only read the history, but also to learn from the history. But also, I think it's to integrate this kind of historical research with critical thinking. I think a new theory is coming out, not totally new. The new theory sometimes is coming from the history. It's coming from the orientation, how would you like to put you into the history, and how to integrate the past to the future. So I think the writing, every year at least one book is coming out in the last 10 years, last 8 years. So
at least one book every year?
Yes.
Okay. You offer a new form of practice in architecture based on the idea of collaborating with machines in design, both design and construction. Could you talk about this model? What are the advantages? And do you think this is the future for everyone?
Yes, definitely. I think look at the time. I think not just in the architecture discipline. So right now it's not a human-centered era. I think it's not humanism. Humanism is dead. It's past. It's right now. It's like human-machine collaborating. So it's a new center. The center is not just human, it's the human and the machine that collaborate to make new things. So the computer and robotics can enhance the skill, can thinking more possibilities, can making more new possibilities.
Would you rather develop ideas that could be used by other architects, or do you want to find your own unique way of doing architecture?
I'm trying to find some new ways why I develop some new tools. I believe you can see Le Corbusier and Mies van der Rohe, why they're great, because before the modernism is happening, the whole industry, the technology at that stage at that era is all changed. But right now, I think it's another turning point. I think the second machine age is coming, is totally based on collaboration between the human being and machine and the computer, robotics. That will make new things will happen.
It will be like a giant leap.
Yes. And I believe the architecture, the form, and finally it's a kind of form. The form is coming from the industry. That will have a large influence from the industry. That means from the ways house will construct the building. So I think as a signature architect, it's the important you need to find the ways of thinking, decision making, but meanwhile you need to develop new tools. I think the new tools will make another identity, another authorship of different signature architect in the future. So our generation, I hope, will be the next generation, will totally to the last generation. This is an important part, is the tools. You need to be thinking on the digital tools, on these tools will have totally different feedback to the designers. I think maybe that Graham Koolhaas is different. He is talking about the social issue, about the form, the program, these kind of things. But I'm in another part of the world. I think I will focus especially on the technology, on the industry, and on the authorship of the tools to the ontologically to the architects. That is the thinking process.
Let me ask you this. I went through a number of your models here.
Yeah.
I went through this stair, beautiful stair, and I saw the pieces of the pavilion that you're going to present in Venice. And my impression is that it's not just about what tools and machines can do specifically, but the main conclusion that I'm making is that, okay, technologically, we can do anything, which means we are completely free, and we are not dependent on these machines, because I know, as a designer, that I can take a blank piece of paper and I can draw anything, because I know that a machine will make it. So why do you want to be limited by a certain tool? Why not free up your imagination completely? Like Le Corbusier did 60 years ago.
That's the difference between me and Le Corbusier. I think the tools is actually limited our imagination. So I would like to expanding my imagination together with machine making process. That means we should create some new machine to expanding our imagination at the same time with just concept art. I think it's a kind of parallel work. Why I focus on material, I develop new material. For example, plastic is a certain modified plastic is developed by ourselves, because we tried 3-4 years of the materiality of the plastic. We need to update the version of it. But for example, the brick, we need to update the form of each brick. It could be totally different, pieces by pieces. That's a kind of new creation process, parallel to the imagination process. Because I think
it's much more specific, right?
Yeah.
You know what specifically can be done.
We have very special idea, but sometimes human brain, you make decision totally by your experience. By your see, your read, you hear, everything you know then. And then you make a decision, creating new things, like create, but totally based on the technology you know. But my thinking is that we can make something not in the package we know, but that should be something, could be something outside of the package. But I would like to make a link, collaboration between them, influence to each other. Maybe I still have, as a traditional architect, I am still doing some creative work, but at the same time I would like to open my vision. I would like to find a partner. My partner is some human body, but at the same time my robotic lab is my partner. That could be my partner to create something new together. I'm totally different to the normal architects. We make something interesting, very special factor, but at the same time, we are also very close to the industry. That is not the normal architecture.
Yeah.